if everything goes well, this could actually be like a pretty good. This could actually be like a pretty good day. Yesterday, in our minimum requirements, Holy Moonlight Sword run at blood level 19, we defeated the Defiled Chalice, which got us a cursed, nourishing blood gem from Amygdala, which actually turned out to be a really good blood gem for us, which is great. We also got the Beast Claw, and I forgot to read the lore on it. Beastly weapon wielded by Irreverent Izzy. Crafted by chiseling the long bones of an undead dark beast and fastening them to the weapon. The bones are still alive, and when unleashed, grant its wielder a spurt of beastly power. As flesh is flayed and blood is sprayed, the beast within awakens, and in time, the wielder of this weapon surges with both strength and feverish reverie. This is referring to the fact that this weapon builds up its own beasthood. You don't need a beast blood pellet with this weapon. What's interesting lore-wise is it says it's taken from an undead dark beast, and it says that the bones are still alive. And one of the things that we talked about was the idea that, like, an abhorrent beast just keeps growing and getting bigger and becoming charged more and more and more until it becomes like what we would call a dark beast. So, like, the abhorrent beast is like the start, and then like it grows into perhaps a Lauren dark beast like Parl. But they never die. Their bones are always alive and animated. Pretty cool. So yeah, yesterday we cleared the deal here. We've got some blood of what's her name? Adeline. We've got some blood of Adeline here. We need to be using this so we can do her little quest line. The living failures just barely beat us. Just barely. But it's fine because we need to use this blood of Adeline. So today we can probably defeat the living failures and Maria. And that should be like a pretty good clip. That'll be pretty good. Also, Simon has been like following us around in the nightmare here. And he's been explaining like the nature of the nightmare as well as the people that inhabit the nightmare, like Ludwig.
Oh, hello. Not a pretty sight, is it? The true face of the blood-worshipping, beast-purging, healing church. But that's not all. You seek the secrets held by the nightmare, do you not? Then here's what you must do. Climb the astral clock tower and kill Maria. She hides the real secret.
So we've got an objective here. By the way, today is it's May 1st when we're recording this. Epi has asked, did you see the Elden Ring link? I did. It was like a 7-second clip of like a building. Yeah, I saw it. Savvy, hello and welcome. Good luck with Ludwig. You'll get him. You'll get him eventually. So now we've got these things. Now that we have moved the ladder around a little bit, or this device. Now that we've moved this mechanism up a little bit, these new enemies have shown up, and some new bodies have been dumped into the what I have to assume is Mercury.
Someone.
Oh my lord, do I not have antidotes? Oh, I was like, I know I've got antidotes. Also, we should have a key here, right? Or do we not get this key yet? Maybe we don't have this key yet. We have the underground cell key, but we don't have this key yet. Yeah. First floor balcony. Yeah, we need to find that key. Symbolic rune, hello. Hey, what's up, Disgruntled? Yeah, we we talked a little bit about the history of May Day at the start of the stream. The run has been good. We beat the Defiled Chalice yesterday, which is a big accomplishment. Happy about that. Very happy about that. Today, hopefully, we take out the Living Failures in Maria. Maria could actually be pretty, like, interesting, honestly. I'm curious to see what she's gonna be like on this run. Oh no, I can't buff because the special blood buffed. The special blood buffed me. There we go. I'm dead. Ooh. I'm okay. Ow! Please! Please! Come on. GG's. Casual Slub, thank you for 5 gift subs to Spatula City, Zombie67, Dreg Return, Marshmallon, and Ravelord Natto. Enjoy your emotes. Welcome. And, yeah, there you go. All dunzos. The Living Failures. So, we gotta get this balcony key to, like, really show this off. But up here at the top of the Upper Cathedral Ward, which we've not been to, right? Like, we can get to the Upper Cathedral Ward, but the research hall would suggest that this is, like, actually above the Upper Cathedral Ward. And they've got this lumen flower here, this big, almost looks like a sunflower, but it's called a lumen flower. And we've seen this flower, like it's you know, its root system runs along up here, and we've seen it in the actual research hall itself. One of the patients was playing with one, out on a smaller balcony. We find out that there is a parasite that really likes this flower, and that parasite is responsible for you know, changing, like we can use that parasite, and we can use the lumen flower to change our entire, like, being. But we'll find all that stuff later. First, let's go back and talk to Adeline, and get some more blood, because we need to use her blood 3 times, I think. Amazing Google, hello. Are these the same flowers that are in the orphanage? They look like it. We need to get that balcony key so that we can discover that.
Oh,
Yes or no?
there you are. How did you find my blood? A touch more? Should it please you? Oh, hello again. I'm very sorry. As I was a blood saint, I cannot break the tenets of the church, even for you. Once you've run dry of blood, come visit me again. Oh, as one.
So she cannot break the tenets of the church, and that has to be in reference to the fact that she won't give us more than one blood vial, I guess. So here we have these things. They've been like restrained. They've sort of taken on a worm-like kind of thing. Yeah. Pretty gross. Oh, dang it. Nobody made the joke. Nobody made the joke about the living failures. When you see the living failures, somebody in chat has to always be like, living failures, more like my life and who I am. That every time. That has to happen every time. Did one of you get my blood echoes? Ow. Did you take my blood echoes? You did. How dare you? Let's go downstairs and try not to die. Let's sit down at the lever first, though, because motion control gestures are the best. We love them. Are the patients in this area supposed to be residents of the fishing hamlet? No, they're pretty clearly Yarnamites. Although some of them do have pretty strange accents. But okay, this sucks. Jesus. The one with the most notable accent, she talks exactly like Maria and the doll. So if I was gonna like guess, I would say she was probably like maybe from Cainhurst. But who knows? Because the Cainhurst queen, Annalise, doesn't speak with that accent. It's because it's the same voice actress, the doll, Maria, and that one particular patient. They're all the same voice actress. But yeah, the people of the fishing village, the people of the fishing hamlet were like just outright genocided. Like they're gone. Oh, damn it. Damn it. Try this again. I mean, hey, okay. Just don't take damage, you know? That's fine. I am so mad at you! You're so full of shit. That dude is full of shit. Oh, you're full of shit. What a loser. What a loser. It drives me crazy that From Software does this. There should be one dude on staff at From Software who's good enough at PvP and, like, understands enough about PvP that he's able to make player character type encounters that are not absolute garbage. Oh, well, we don't know how to make it work, so we just give them 50, 100 hit points, and they, you know, we just do it that way. I swear to God. You are so annoying, dude. Bang, I'm a banging man. I'm so mad at my lock on. Get wrecked! God, I hate you. Alright. Dead forever. And yeah, so the top portion of the elevator is something that obviously portrays Master Willem and a couple other folks performing like an autopsy on the orphan. What we have here is similar to the statue in the Grand Cathedral with the decapitated woman, and she seems to be pouring something, and these people are receiving it, and I guess they're either excited or not happy about it. And it's going into like a weird throne, I guess. This kind of makes me think of Cainhurst, actually, with the decapitated ladies. And we get Lawrence's skull. And Lawrence's skull says, Lawrence was the first vicar of the Healing Church. In reality, he became the first cleric beast, and his human skull only exists within the nightmare. The skull is a symbol of Lawrence's past, and what he failed to protect. He is destined to seek his skull, but even if he found it, it could never restore his memories. Rat King, I like the broadsword moveset in Dark Souls 2 a whole lot. The Varangian sword and the Drake Keeper's sword both use the broadsword moveset, and I really like it. I'm just not a fan of the way it looks, honestly, which is why I don't use it often. But it's a very fine weapon in Dark Souls 3 for a strength build. So we now have the underground cell key, which we can use to grab stuff in here. And everybody here is dressed as a hunter. Not only is everybody here dressed as a hunter, but a lot of them are hunters of renown. For example, Gradia here. Look at this big old woman. Look at that big woman. A chunk of iron fitted with finger holes. The hulking hunter woman, simple Gradia, ever hopeless when handling hunter firearms, preferred to knock the lights out of beast with this hunk of iron, which incidentally caused heavy stagger. Gradia was a fearsome hunter, and to onlookers her unrelenting pummeling appeared oddly heroic. No wonder this weapon later assumed her name. We also will find a named hunter alive and well in here. Well, maybe not well, but alive. This is Defector Antal, an old hunter, a hunter of the dream. He's wearing the garb of the Yarhargul, the School of Mensis, kidnappers. And he's called Defector, which leads us to believe he no longer serves that cause. And this guy you can summon, and he will help you out. He had to have been a hunter of the dream at some point, because you summon him using the old hunter bell, if I'm not mistaken. Which means he's a hunter. He was like us. What his job was, who can say? But we kind of have this idea, you'll see it a lot on Reddit, which doesn't make any sense, that like all of the other hunters of the dream did what we did. But that doesn't make sense, because this isn't Dark Souls. However, we have determined that for every old hunter in the Chalice dungeons, there is a headstone. The headstones that we use to access the Chalice dungeons could be tied to, like, the hunters in those Chalice dungeons, as if they were hunters of the dream, and their job was to retrieve that chalice. And because they retrieved it and did their job, they were allowed to wake up and leave the dream. And also, like, you know, they still exist. They can still be summoned to help you out. The number of old hunters corresponds to the number of headstones in the Chalice dungeons. So the idea that, like, these dudes had other jobs. They had a contract with the Moon Presence, like we do. But our job is to stop the Nightmare Newborn to whatever, right? What was What was this thing? You could even argue that our job is to seek pale blood and transcend the hunt, and just take over Gehrman's spot. That could also be what we're after, what we're supposed to do. One of those two things is our job. At least our job, at the very least, our job is to stop the Nightmare Newborn. Anyway, this is Defector Antal, and he used to be a hunter like us. Uh-oh. He's got that repeating pistol, which is like a nightmare. Woo! Uh-oh. Damn it.
Only the true blades of the church.
Try and use our hyper armor against him here. Oh, that jump attack did damage. That gets us the church pick, which is an excellent weapon. We've done a challenge run with this weapon as well, just like we're doing here, except instead of getting the Holy Moonlight sword, we rushed and got this. Yeah. One of the old trick weapons of the Healing Church, a hunting weapon formed from one of the giant picks that appear in old beast tales. Old beast tales. The church pick initially serves as a large sword, but when transformed functions as an extended war pick. In spite of its origins, it is a highly practical weapon. It is a great weapon, is what it is. I love this thing so much. It's great. We also have this hunter. No, he's alive. Maybe not well, but he's alive.
But always clear of mind. Proud hunter of the church. Beasts are a curse, and the curse is a shackle. Only the true blades of the church. Shrouded by night, but with steady stride. Colored by blood, but always clear of mind. Proud hunter of the church. Beasts are a curse, and the curse is a shackle. Only the true blades of the church.
That was Yamamura. Chikage Yamamura is actually a real person. That's a real person, chat. In the game, Mr. Yamamura was a wanderer. This hat and staff were given to him when he became a hunter and Confederate of the League. So he's taken the League oath, and he might actually shine a little bit of a light on what's up with our boy Crazy Town, Crazy Pants, Crazy Master. What's his name? Valter. This is the Kaki Haori, garb of a distant eastern land worn by Yamamura the Wanderer. The eastern warrior pursued a beast for honorable revenge, then became a hunter of the League. But when he stared straight into impurity, it drove him mad. When he stared straight into impurity, it drove him mad. Confederates of the League. Cooperate with hunters from other worlds and hunt to discover vermin. This rune, discovered inside the forbidden beast eater, came to symbolize impurity and the oath of the League. Vermin writhe within filth and are the root of man's impurity. Crush all vermin without hesitation. So he hunted a beast for honorable revenge, which is very similar to what Valter's doing. Valter, why is that door open? That door should not be open. Or is that just the light shining on the floor? And there's another door. Okay. Whew. I was like, holy shit. Valter is also hunting a beast, Valter also hunted a beast for revenge, but when Valter got his beast, he ate it. Because he's a crazy person. Bearman Pig with a gift sub to Rusty. Rusty, welcome back. And Bearman Pig, thank you so much. Also, Bearman Pig, shout out. I appreciate you, homie. I seen people on YouTube leaving comments and asking questions about the runs and stuff like that, and Bearman Pig being very helpful on the YouTube channel and like letting people know, what was up, and I appreciate that. So thank you. There's a fella in there, chat. And he's ringing a bell. But I don't hear the bell.
Are you a hunter? Well, that's very odd. You hear the toll of the bell? Very well. The beast you seek will not be found here. Go back to your hunt, and if you have the chance, put this night behind you. Places better left untouched, secrets better left alone. Only a forwards brazenly roam.
Brador is a super interesting dude. I love Brador. He's wearing foreign garb, and his voice actor has taken on an accent very similar to Gilbert's. Really making it seem like he was also an outsider. And they've locked him in jail. And we're like, oh, they locked up my homie. Why'd they lock up my homie for? Free my homie Brador. And we will start to encounter Brador a little later and have those questions answered. And I love it. I love his quest. I love his character. I love his fashion. I love his weapon. I love everything about him. All right, so we got a key to the Astral Clock Tower for defeating the living failures. I'm gonna see if she'll give me...
Hello?
There she is.
Hello? Is anyone there? Please, somebody, I need help. I'm trying, but I'm afraid the sound is fading. Hello? Is that who I think it is? Please. Oh, please, I need brain fluid. The sticky sound is fading fast. Please bring me brain fluid. I must have it. That sound, it is all that guides me. Without it, I'll be sent back to my former, lesser years.
This is a little bit of a, I think a peek into what was actually going on with the Great Ones way, way back in the Labyrinth, like back during their time. They were able to take their physical bodies and protect them with watchdogs and keepers and watchers and all these safeguards. And they were able to essentially transcend their own body, their own mortality, and become just beings that existed and the choir thinks that they exist out in the cosmos, and Bergenworth thinks that they exist in the water, and stuff like that. But we're sort of seeing that happen here with Adeline here.
Yes, that's it. Let me have it.
Hey, what's up, Nagash?
I can hear it. Yes. The sound that guides me. Thank you. Thank you so much. You have saved me. Take this charm. Lady Maria gave it to me, but it is all I can offer, other than my own blood.
Balcony key.
Please, do not abandon me. I promise to do good. Oh, the sticky sound, as clear as day. Slip, slop, drip, drop, slip, slop. How extraordinary. Do you think that water drips even down deep below at the bottom of the sea? Can you hear it? Drip, drop, slip, slip.
She gave us a balcony key. Key to the balcony on the first floor of the research hall. Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower gave this to the patient, Adeline. Maria had hoped Adeline would find comfort in the faint breeze that carried the scent of flowers from the outside, but Adeline couldn't fathom her intentions. This, to me, kind of indicates that Maria wanted Adeline to leave, to escape. She would smell the breeze from the flowers outside and just make a run for it. And it's saying that, like, Adeline just could not fathom that. Like, she was like, oh, I guess you just gave me a key. Like, she didn't get it. We also got the Astral Clock Tower key, a key to the Astral Clock Tower at the top of the Grand Cathedral. The caretaker of the tower's numerous patients, known to them only as Lady Maria, made her home behind the giant star-interpreting clock. All right. So we are on the first floor of the research hall, right? And when we come out here, and keep in mind, this is a nightmare. There's no evidence that this is how the geometry of the real world actually plays out. But when we come out here, we find ourselves at the Lumenflower Gardens, right? And so way, way, way up top, what I was talking about earlier, where the research hall was built on top of the upper cathedral ward. This is where but keep in mind that this is a nightmare, and we've seen in the nightmare that the geometry isn't always accurate. Like, it's not a one-to-one representation of the real world. There are patients down here who are playing with the lumen flowers that have sprouted down here. And these folks are a little better in terms of, like, the experiment. They're a little better off than the folks inside the research hall. Because they actually, like, their thing worked. These are probably, like, very early living failures. They're able to use a very weak version of a call beyond. Now, one thing that kind of irks me about Bloodborne is there are places to get gems that are, like, just good enough. Like, they're not the best gems, but they're good enough. You can get bolt gems from the fish clerics in the fishing hamlet, for example, and you can get tempering gems from the sharks, the whale sharks in the fishing hamlet. It irks me that you can't get... These dudes should drop arcane gems, but they don't. And that's a missed opportunity. Also, Eternal, thank you very much for the 5 gift subs to Car255 OSU, Adam Billings MP, Tapioca, Phoebe, Pork Coffee, and Sword of Eden. Enjoy your emotes. Welcome and welcome back. Enjoy your emotes. And Eternal, thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. Hey, what's up, Sporkwad? Why would the research hall disappear in the real world? Let's... Oh, shoot. Oh, no. Let's approach that question a little differently. Give me just a minute. I'm freaking out because I don't have a lot of blood vials. Ooh. My internet is being crappy because Comcast is the literal worst. Let me throw up a JPEG and sit here and heal. There you go, chat. I'm not sure that the research hall has disappeared. I just think that the elevator doesn't work anymore. But there's no evidence that, like, you know, that this is like a shared dream. You know, like, think about how many people it took to make the Nightmare of Mensis. It took a lot, right? It took a whole bunch of people to make the Nightmare of Mensis. They did it on purpose. The Hunter's Nightmare, if it works anything like that, might be the collected, just amalgamation of, like, a cobbled together bunch of memories from a bunch of blood-drunk lunatics. And so, like, their geometry doesn't, you know, their memory doesn't hold. It's not a one-to-one for that reason. Either one's possible, but I don't think it really matters either way. You know? Like, I don't think it matters. It's not, it doesn't affect the story. It just kind of gives us, there's just different ways for us to sort of inform our opinion on how this particular thing worked. But I don't think that necessarily the research hall has gone anywhere. I just think that, like, we just can't access it. I thought a great one made the Hunter's Nightmare as punishment for the blood-drunk hunters. Sure, but, like, that's a curse that's, like, passed down. We can say, like, yeah, well, time flows weird, you know, it's a great one. Maybe okay, sure. But it's like, that's a curse that was passed down before the Healing Church was ever formed. So, like, where did the Great One get its... Where did the Great One get its, like... It's not like the Great One was, like, a video game level designer and was, like, making making Yarnum, you know. It was just a curse. Like, you're cursed now. The Great Ones are sympathetic in spirit. Survivors of Bergenworth became the baneful chanters. They put a hex. They used their closeness to Koss, like a certified bona fide Great One, to put a hex on the people of Bergenworth, curse the fiends, their children too, and their children and their children's children, forever true. Like, they put that curse on them, and the Great Ones are sympathetic in spirit, and the Great Ones will curse the enemies of people who have, you know what I mean? Like, this is all like lore. Like, the Chalice Dungeon tells us that, like, curses come from Great Ones. It tells us that the Great Ones are sympathetic in spirit. We hear the fishing hamlet survivors, you know, Buggenworth. We hear them like muttering these curses. But in terms of like where the actual nightmare comes from, it very obviously is Yharnam. It's just a very bizarre hell world Yharnam, right? But again, it doesn't matter. Like, it does, you know what I mean? Like, it can be messed up for any number of reasons. It can be messed up because it's just a nightmare. It can be messed up because it's a million people's memories and none of them are, you know, accurate. They're all just clashing together, et cetera, et cetera. It's just something fun to think about, you know? My internet seems to be a little bit better. Let's, also, I'm healed after using Adeline's blood. Let's try this again. Alright, there's one right here. I think if we take this one out, we're safe. Here we get the Black Sky Eye. So these living failures right here, they're not complete yet, but they're closer to complete than the people still in the actual research hall. They are able to make contact with the cosmos. They're just not very good at it yet, you know? Hey, get back here. We see the living failures are able to do that as well. They're just not, you know. Alright, so, like, if this were what we were familiar with the Upper Cathedral Ward, like, right here, we would be able to, like, circle around and then take an elevator, like, right here, right where that elevator's at, we would be able to take an elevator and we would be able to go down to where they eventually ended up keeping Abritus, right? But there's no elevator that goes up. But if we were looking at this, this is the same place. You know what I mean? Like, this is what this is in the waking world as well. Like, this is, but the problem is that it's the same building that also exists in the nightmare over here. If we were to walk way over there, we would come in here and we would find Lawrence, right? This building exists twice in the nightmare. Yeah. Also, we got a church cannon. We saw the executioner dudes using the church cannon. The church cannon rules. It's an oversized weapon used by the healing church, a type of cannon that fires with a curved trajectory and creates an explosion upon contact. Originally designed for use by brawny men with deteriorated brains, not for just any ordinary hunter. But the men lacked the wits to effectively operate firearms, and the weapon was quietly ushered into permanent storage. So they gave this weapon to the giants, but the giants' brains are deteriorated. Like, they're not at the top of their game. I really think the game kind of like missed out on an opportunity here, because what they could have done is, you know how the executioner giants will the executioner giants will shoot the cannon at their own feet. They should have made that do damage. If that had done damage to them, like that, you know what I mean, that would have been dope. What are the beds for? They're either doing terrible things to hunters there, or like hunters are resting there, like not resting, but like that's where like they're well, maybe they're resting. Shit, I don't know. Ceremoniously resting. Their bodies are there. Feltwink has redeemed Do the Dungeon Master voice and says, "The deterioration of the mind of every man and woman has exceeded any predictions that could have transpired. The great mire discriminates none, for it will never cease its rapid genocide of our sanity. Those who are spared will not know peace for long." There you go. Yeah, so these are the dudes that use the cannon. They are rocking what appears to me to be executioner armor. It's got the big hood. It's got the big shawl on the back of it. And then they are rocking a Yahar'gul iron helmet. Like that's what it looks like to me. This dude wants me to go over there and fight him so his homie hears us and his homie can come over here and start some shit, and I ain't having it. I just ain't having that, man. Now, I love this weapon. It's an axe, but it's very thick, and it's shaped like a bell. And when this dude buffs, he rings his axe like it's a bell, and a very interesting thing happens. He creates a weird distortion in space, and yeah, it's pretty cool. We're actually hurt by the sound of the bell and that distortion that it creates. Which is pretty baller. Going back to the witches, or the bell ringers. The bell ringing women have an attack where they ring their bell, and when they ring their bell, it like eats away at your HP. But remember that in this game, hit points are your will to survive. Not just your physical power, but also your will to survive. So it's like a sound so terrible that it kills you. It destroys your will to live. That's awesome. and that's kind of how Bloodborne gets away with killing you with things that aren't like a punch or a kick or a gunshot or, a stab wound or something like that. The game kind of gets away with it because they tell us that our hit points also represent our character's will to just go on, which is pretty baller. I like it. It's nice. It's a nice little touch. Let's head back to the dream, let's repair our stuff, and spend some of these echoes and insight. Yeah, we've got a ton of insight. So let's, like, beast blood pellets forever, chat. All beast blood pellets all the time is what we need. And I guess we should be buying some of these other weapons as well. Yeah. And that way we can get that all weapons achievement, right? I don't really have a lot of blood echoes though, so well, actually I do have a lot of blood echoes, so let's do that. I have a ton of blood echoes, actually. Alright, Saw Cleaver, we own one. Saw Spear, we should own one, but I'll buy one just in case. Hunter's Saw Spear. The saw with its set of bloodletting teeth has become a symbol of the hunt, and only grows in effectiveness the more grotesquely transformed the beast. The Hunter Axe. Retains the qualities of an axe, but offers a wider palette of attacks by transforming. Boosts a heavy blunt attack, leading to high rally potential. No matter their pasts, beasts are no more than beasts. Some choose this axe to play the part of executioner. Sufficiently deadly as a rigid, bladed cane, but also serves as a whip when its blade is split into many. Concealing the weapon inside the cane and flogging the beast with its whip is partly an act of ceremony, an attempt to demonstrate to oneself that the bloodlust of the hunt will never encroach upon the soul. It's a little strange, isn't it? Like, yeah, we whip the shit out of them and make them bleed everywhere so that you know, we demonstrate that, you know, we're not bloodthirsty beasts. A special trick weapon passed down among hunters of hunters, one of the oldest weapons of the workshop, splits into two when activated. The weapon's warped blades are forged with siderite, a rare mineral of the heavens, most effective in swift attacks, such as after quick stepping. This weapon, very obviously, one of the weapons that the Wet Nurse uses. Interesting because the blade of Gehrman's scythe is also one of the blades that the Wet Nurse uses. Both are referred to as being siderite, a rare mineral of the heavens. Church pick we have Kirk Hammer. We've read this one already. It's basically just like, yeah, it's heavy-handed as a metaphor and a weapon. We've read this one already. This one is basically like, you know, great value Ludwig's Moonlight sword. We bought one of these though? Doesn't look like it. Rider Palish. We had to have picked this up. It says we don't have one stored, but, like, we have to have one stored. The Chikage we probably didn't buy. This is a weapon for, like, the guards of Annalise. Not just for any Cainhurst hunter, but for the guards of Annalise. The Beast Claw we read. Amygdalin Arm we read. Logarius Will, used to slaughter the vile bloods in Cainhurst, bathed in pools of their blood and forever steeped in their ire, transformed to release the power of the will and manifest their lingering rage in a show of utter brilliance. So, the Executioner's Glove and the Executioner's Will both have a very similar ability. But I don't think that, like, the Executioner's Glove comes from a faraway land, not the Executioners of Yharnam. But the Executioner's Glove sort of, I think, is a, the Executioner's Wheel. All of the ghosts we find in Cainhurst have been absolutely drained of blood. That we can't you can rally off of them, but like you technically shouldn't be able to because you can't rally off ghosts because they don't bleed. The ghosts in Cainhurst are the same. They don't bleed, but we can still rally off of them. Probably just gameplay consideration. But like ghosts in Chalice dungeons, we can't rally off of them. You need blood to rally. Anywho, to me, it's kind of like this thing is forever steeped in the ire and bathed in pools of blood. It's a bit like they've drained Cainhurst of all of its blood, and now they have these like cursed wheels that can do something similar to what the Executioner's Glove does. The spirits of the people that they killed are able to. You can like call them forth to buff the weapon, but when you buff the weapon, it eats away at your own health. Because, you know, you're sitting here holding this possessed, angry, Cainhurstian spirit in a will that probably killed it and drained it of all its blood. Which is fucking pretty metal, if you think about it. Tonitrus we have. Whirligigsaw we have. Yeah, this is a trick weapon crafted by the workshop heretics, the powder kegs, and weapon of choice of the old hunter Volter, the Beast Eater. Yeah. The stake driver we don't have, but we looked at it already. The rifle spear we have, looked at it already. All right. Yeah. So we're buying all the weapons that we can get our hands on. We'll put them up because I don't want my inventory cluttered. Alright. And, how are we doing on blood vials? Check those out. Also, how did we not read these? Blood vial. Once a patient has had their blood ministered, a unique but common treatment in Yharnam, successive infusions recall the first, and are all the more invigorating for it. No surprise that most Yharnamites are heavy users of blood. So once you've had your blood transfusion, your blood menstruation, using blood vials rejuvenates you and invigorates you. It I mean, you know, from a gameplay standpoint, it heals you. And then Quicksilver bullets. Ordinary bullets have no effect on beasts, and so Quicksilver bullets, fused with the wielder's own blood, must be employed. The strength of Quicksilver bullets depends greatly upon the wielder's blood tinge. You can't look at blood vials in your inventory for some reason. They're not there. They don't appear. All right, let's take a swing at Maria. If we don't get her first try, you know, we'll take a little break. I forgot to touch the lamp. Damn it. That's okay. We need to talk to Adeline one more time anyway. If we don't get her on the first try, which I don't suspect we will, Lady Maria requires... It doesn't require. Lady Maria can be stun locked forever, over and over and over again. She has one attack. Where she's able to hyper armor through. If you avoid that attack, it's a pretty easy thing. But this weapon is slow, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work. We'll see though.
Oh, hello. One last time. Will you fetch brain fluid just one last time? Murky, mushy fluid that will make me whole. The sticky sound whispers to me, so very close, right into my ear. My head, just a head, that's all there is. I need my baptism. Please, I beg of you, I want to be something.
She needs one more brain fluid, but there's no more brain fluid to find, chat. Except remember that as we were doing this quest, we saw that these things didn't die if we killed them. They just came back. This brain fluid tells us that it was extracted from a patient whose head expanded until that was all that they were. We fail to realize our own latent potential until the moment it is lost, and we sense its absence. Ironically, this is the very nature of insight, like the moment one licks one's own blood, only to be startled by its sweetness.
Oh, hello. One last time. Murkeen, the sticky sound whispers to me. My head. Just a head. That's all there is. I need my baptism. Please, I beg of you. I want to be something. I see a shape. My guide, I see your voice. Clearly as it bends and bleeds.
And so she gives us the milkweed rune. She could see a voice. Uden exists only as a voice. She has given us a rune. A rune is a word from a great one, but we can't understand what they're saying. But like there are symbols that represent those words and communicate those ideas. The same as the make contact gesture symbolizes that angle and portrays an idea that like, yeah, we can't talk to you, but I can show you that we understand like mathematics with this simple symbol. I can show you that like we're not just, apes running around down here, banging coconuts against trees. Like we've figured out some shit, right? And what's interesting to me is we get insight for that, right? And we hear that you just got insight noise, and to me, like I wonder if that's like a great one like talking to us and like letting us know that like what we're seeing is important or whatever. And it really makes you think about all the times that you've gained insight from that thing that you know what I mean?
My own revelation. Just for me. Thank you for everything. Really, I used to be nothing.
A carol rune envisioned by Adeline, a patient of the research hall. A transcription of the inhuman sticky whispers that reveal the nature of a celestial attendant. Those who take this oath become a lumenwood that peers toward the sky, feeding phantasms in its luscious bed. Phantasms guide us and lead to further discoveries. So, if you wear this, you become a lumenwood, and then the parasite of Kos, the Kos parasite, if you have that Kos parasite, it reacts with the lumenwood. The lumenwood flowers are what we, like those flowers that we've been seeing everywhere. They exist in the nightmare. They've been brought back to Yarnum. They're on top of the research hall. They're in the upper cathedral ward. Those flowers are important, and the parasites react with those flowers in a very special way.
I have failed. Please, Lady Maria.
So let's take a swing at Lady Maria, and if we lose, you know, we'll try again. But if we win, this will be hype. There are bells all over the place. There are bells in here, and there are bells in the research hall behind us. And you can think of the bells as just a way to tell people time, because they are used for that. When we kill bosses, the bell tolls, and the night does move further into, you know, the day moves further into night. And the bells do represent that. But it's also important to remember that the bells also represent a way to, like, reach out across the worlds, and you know what I mean? Like, we use bells to summon people. We use bells to invade people. Bell maidens use bells to summon people. Like, bells have, you know, we use bells to heal people. Bells have, there's a lot of symbology in the bells here. Symbolism, I guess. Somebody has actually taken this picture and, like, found the texture in Bloodborne's game files and printed it. And it very much looks like Maria and Gehrman hanging out together. And, like, what might be like the outline of like, it's like a woman holding a baby, I think, with like a shadowy dude, like, standing behind her. It's been a long time since I've actually looked at the picture, but it's cool that somebody actually went through the trouble to do that. But the broken frame on the picture, is actually like a texture on the image. It's not like a picture frame with a broken glass and then the image underneath that. Like, that's, you know what I mean? It's a video game. So anyway, she's got a chalice here, which is obviously pretty whatever. And you can hear the blood dripping, but, like, I don't think we can see blood dripping anywhere.
Should be left well alone.
Bit of a double entendre there.
I know very well how the secrets beckon so sweetly. Only an honest death will kill you now. Liberate you from your wild curiosity.
Maria tells us that, like, we shouldn't have touched her corpse, but that also doubles as, like, she should not have fucked with the orphan. And she says that only an honest death will fix us now. Which is pretty interesting, because it would appear that she's taken her own life, but it also appears that she's not fucking crazy cursed. So maybe she's onto something. Alright, we're trying to fight Maria. Like I said, you can bully her pretty good, just stun lock the shit out of her. The problem is she has one attack that has hyper armor. We have to avoid that attack. But it only works, that attack, she has an attack that has hyper armor when her weapon is in, when her weapon is in this mode. And she has one when it's in the other mode. It's important if you get hit to rally off of her, because, like, don't back away and heal, but rally off of her. She's a hunter. You're supposed to fight her like she's a hunter. That's it. That's the move with hyper armor. That one. Shit. The fight's pretty much the same, but now she's buffed her weapons with blood. Now she's buffed them with blood that's on fire. Because of course she has. The hardest part of this fight is finding your way into the start of the melee. Once the melee starts, if she's willing to stick around and actually duke it out with you, there's no reason to leave. Hesitation is defeat. Just be super aggressive. The problem is when she backs away, she resets the fight every time, and you have to find your way back into the fight somehow. And you're liable to make mistakes there as you're trying to get in. In Phase 2 and Phase 3, she has those laser beam blood attacks, which I just absolutely despise. This is a good point. This is a good place to split it up. And so that's what we're going to do. It's a good first attempt, though.